Eastern Conference Finals last season. The Pacers, they started this season 16-18, but what a turnaround. Since January 1st, Indiana has had the fourth best record in the league, going 34-14. But how did they make their second straight conference finals? Well, Dana Green. When Tyrese Halliburton started getting hot.
Yeah, he did. Hot it was. Did 5 in that quarter?
5 threes in the second quarter to
Why
get
is he
Indiana
open?
back in this one. Once again, pulls up. By the way, those 5 threes are the most by a Pacers player in the playoffs in the last 25 seasons here. So on to the third quarter we go. A big sequence here for Indiana. Trailing by 8, Donovan Mitchell, he steals it away. But watch Miles Turner here. Chases him down for the block. And then watch Nembhard comes in for another block on Max Strus. Huge play, perhaps a turning point in this game for Indiana.
I thought that play was huge because, we started the third quarter. I think that right there kind of got us going there in the third when we started slow, and then we just kind of rode the wave from there.
And as you can see, Indiana outscored Cleveland 33-16 to end the third quarter after that sequence from Turner and Nembhard there. So the fourth quarter here, 4.5 to play. Indiana up 4 here. Halliburton this time with the block, then going coast to coast for the finish. And one.
Doing it on both ends.
He finished with 31 points, 8 assists.
It's overrated.
As the Pacers take down the top-seeded Cavaliers. They move on to the Eastern Conference Finals once again. But the Cavaliers, their 64 wins, are tied with the 2022 Suns for the third most by a team to fail to advance past the conference semis in NBA history. That trails only the 67 games won by the 16 Spurs and the 07 Mavs. After the game, Donovan Mitchell, he addressed another early exit here for Cleveland.
Y'all gonna write us the off, man. But we'll be back. Let City down, let each other down. We'll be back.
So obviously this is a shock to the Cavaliers. Wendy, we kind of joke that you're the Cavaliers corner here, but you've covered this team, followed this team more closely than most. What does this loss mean for the future of the Cavaliers? Are we to write them off the way that Donovan Mitchell is saying that maybe folks will?
There's just no way that they could have seen this coming.
Yeah.
Certainly they respected the Pacers as an opponent. They knew that the Pacers were going to be a difficult matchup for them in certain aspects of it, but they just were mentally taken out of this series. I mean, you can point, I suppose, to the fact that there was some injuries and definitely some of their star players weren't at their best, but the Pacers got inside their head. They wore them down. Their strategy was really to apply pressure to the Cavs guards, and the Cavs deal with that and deal with their undersized guards by just overwhelming the teams with offense. But in fact, the Pacers applied so much full court pressure and so much ball pressure that it got them out of their offense, got them out of their flow. Malika, at the end last night, the Cavs just stopped passing. And when you watch the Cavs during the season when they won 64 games, they were one of the best passing teams in the league. They basically reduced them to just sort of a shell of themselves. And so part of that's on the Cavs, but a lot of it is owed to the strong play and game plan of the Pacers.
No, we're not the ones that are going to write them off. They wrote their own selves off, right? With the lack of physicality. This team was so soft. Like, here's the thing, right? This is why I'm looking at Donovan Mitchell. One, a Donovan Mitchell-led team has never been to a conference finals. That's number one. Number two, Donovan Mitchell is the reason that J.B. Bickerstaff got fired, right? Because J.B. Bickerstaff was so strict. J.B. Bickerstaff was trying to bring culture to that organization. And most importantly, J.B. Bickerstaff was trying to hold those guys accountable and bring out the dog in them, right? And that's what they shied away from. They wanted to have fun. They wanted it to be peaches and cream. It is stressful going through the process of trying to win an NBA championship or even make it to the NBA finals. You lose sleep, you don't eat, you ain't talking to nobody, you walking in the practice facilities and you may not speak to your coach or teammates throughout the course of a series. You hate your coach at times because he's on you so much about accountability. So now all of a sudden we're here. And I'm looking at the injuries, and listen, the last thing I ever want to do is question some injuries, and DG, I'm going to lead you off with this, but I'm looking at an ankle injury, okay? I'm looking at an ankle injury. You sit out game 2, Evan Mobley, and then you come back game 3. Well, your ass could have played in game 2. I'm looking at Donovan Mitchell last night, letting the world know that, oh, I'm giving it all I got. I'm fighting through it. I mean, I'm beat up. I'm sore. We don't see that same stuff from Anthony Edwards. You got to have a different type of mentality. You got to have a different type of heart, passion. Going to the NBA Finals, trying to compete for a championship is not fun. It's stressful.
I'm with you on that, Perk. And to talk about Wendy's point, I think they did sleep on him, Wendy. I think they kind of took him lightly, and it cost him 2 games. When Darius sat out, he expected his team to take care of business. They did it with Miami. This is not a Miami Heat team. Indiana Pacers are very good, and you could not take games off. If you're able to play, you better get on that floor and figure out a way. Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter took a game. These are not teams you can sit out against. You have to play these games. This is the playoffs. So I'm with you, Perk. You got to find a way to get on the floor. If you can sit out just one game and come back, it's a pain tolerance issue. So if you can accept the pain tolerance and fight through it, you got to do it. You got to find a way to do that. And they didn't do that. And I think they took them lightly, which put them in a hole. And it made Donovan Mitchell very gassed and didn't have the energy to play. You see those lackadaisical plays that they had down the stretch. You could not allow a guy to catch you, a big man to catch you in an open break court and block your shot. These are just plays that are just no sense of urgency, and they kind of slept on them in the first 2 games, which put them in a hole.
I think when a 64-win team loses in 5 games in the second round in the same fashion that they lost a year ago, the hand-wringing begins, and the questions over what worked and didn't work and how much of health was a factor. All of that stuff is going to come into play over the next couple of days and weeks as Cleveland sort of looks at how they want to move forward. But on this show, we're always very clear. It's not just what Cleveland didn't do. It's what Indiana did to Cleveland, and they took it to Cleveland time and time again. Here's what Tyrese Halliburton had to say about returning to the Eastern Conference Finals.
This is a special time, back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals. We're not done. We still got, a ways to go, but it's a special feeling, man. And, watching the lottery last night, I remember being our representative at the lottery a couple of years ago and not wanting to to go back. So it's special, man. This group is special. We've, this has been built by many different, moves.
The Pacers have played with a massive chip on their shoulder the entire playoffs. And I'm going to go ahead and say this, Perk, and I don't know who they're going to play. Is it going to be the Knicks or the Celtics? Certainly it looks like it is going to be the Knicks as of right now. I would not be surprised one bit if the Indiana Pacers are the team to make it to the conference finals. When you have 6 different guys averaging double figures,
these guys are maxing out for Rick Carlisle at a high level on both ends of the floor. They play agenda-free basketball. They tough as nails defensively. I am completely sold on the Indiana Pacers. I slept on them all season long, but hat off to Rick Carlisle for the excellent job because he's been coaching his behind off.
Yeah, they're deep. They work incredibly hard. In 3 of the 4 games in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, they were a shot or 2 away from taking down the Boston Celtics. Brian, speaking of Boston, we know you have to run, you have to go, you have to cover this team. We will see you on the show later this week. We appreciate it. Let's get to who we wonder. Yeah, text him that bet. Don't forget that, Brian.
Thank you.
Speaking of bets, look at this. The Knicks, they went from the longest odds among teams remaining to win the Eastern Conference favorites after Game 4's win. They're now just -110 favorites, just ahead of the Pacers.